Hi guys, welcome back to Danger Bros. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. So we're actually going to be starting a series called Storytime, where there's gameplay footage in the background and I tell a very interesting story. Today, our story is going to be on Nopa. I'm not going to use his real name because of privacy reasons. Alright, so Nopa is this kid that I met at an Avid camp, and if you're from Colorado, especially the Denver area, and you were a kid, you would know that Avid is just an amazing program where you go and do all sorts of fun things. Except the coaches actually have no idea what they're doing. Okay, now anyways, onto the story. So anyways, I get there and I'm on my Norco Fluid 3, which is my old bike now. And there's this other kid on a, what I would describe as creamsicle, so like an orange and gray mix. Kona, hey, I want to say. Yeah, it was a hey. And so I'm like, oh, okay, sweet, so this kid has a full suspension. And so I'm like talking to him, he was like the second one there. Of course, I show up first, because I'm always early. So I'm talking to this kid. He seems pretty nice. I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with him at the time. And then, a few other kids show up, and we take our like group picture before the trip and whatnot, and then we all load up into the van, and this is kind of where things get a little weird. So, I'm talking to him and this other kid that I just met. We're gonna call him, let's see, we're gonna call him Brett. Okay, so Nopa and Brett and me are all just talking, and and we're just talking about stuff. And then, of course, they both bring up, like, math problems. I'm like, it's literally the middle of the summer. Why are we doing math on a bus ride to Wyoming in the middle of the summer? And I don't know, they just didn't give me an explanation. They're just, like, giving me all these stupid math questions that I don't want to answer. So that's kind of where I knew something was up. And then we get into, I want to say Fort Collins, and we stop at this little Walmart. And, there's like a Starbucks next to it, and, they just stop there to get some provisions for us, like, if we do, like, really good. Like, we bought some candy and whatnot, and it was pretty good. And then right as we're leaving, Nopa asks if we can go get coffee. And remember, I was only 13 at the time. This is like a year ago. So I'm like, coffee, like, that's a little strange. Like, I feel like an energy drink's a little more normal. But no, he doesn't stop there. He wants espresso, just straight espresso. Like, just a shot of espresso. I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. But, I was like, okay, whatever, this kid likes coffee, like, whatever. I'm not going to judge you for that. So anyways, we get back on the bus, and, they're talking about mountain biking and, like, school and whatnot. And you see, Nopa goes to a pretty well-known middle school in Denver called McAuliffe. And I don't remember where Brett went. He definitely didn't go to McAuliffe. Alright, well, anyways, so we're just on our way on our trip to Wyoming. And we finally get to Wyoming, and, we unload all the tents and whatnot. And, we're just kind of making sure our bikes are all good. I noticed that a few things are a little loose, so I pull up my multi and tighten all of them. Make sure my tires are nice and pumped up. All the normal good things. Just making sure that everything's okay. And so, I brought a hammock because I was like, screw this, I don't want to sleep in a tent. It was like the middle of the summer. It was still pretty hot. We're in Wyoming. Kurt Gowdy was the name of the county that we were in, by the way, if you were wondering. Alright, so I go and I set up my hammock, and Brett, of course, also brought a hammock. So, we're like, okay, sweet, we'll just, like, put our hammocks next to each other, and we can talk, and then we'll go to sleep. So we do that, and then we all decide that, okay, if we do sleep in a tent, we'll sleep in a tent with Nopa. So we go and we set up the tent, and, everything's pretty good. So we set up the tent, and I'm like, okay, sweet. And then we made some dinner. We all were taught, like, how to use, like, the cooking stuff, because, we would have to cook later in the week and whatnot. So yeah, that was all pretty nice. Yeah, and then we ate dinner. It was like horrible burgers, of course, because it's like frozen, like, Avid food, so like pretty much every other summer camp. And they're like, okay, well, here's what we're doing in the morning. Here's when no, actually, they gave us a choice. They're like, okay, when do you want to wake up? Like, we can wake up, like, early and get more trails in, or we can wake up a little later and, like, get less trails in, but have, like, more time to do other things. So, of course, we're all morning people, so we all decide to wake up early and get more trails in. And so, we all go to our hammocks. I'm a little cold, whatever. I have a sleeping bag. I'm sure I'll warm up. So I'm just sitting in the hammock talking to Brett, and I just see a light come on in the tent. Now, at this time, let's say they probably made us go to bed around 8. I didn't have a watch or anything on me, so I wouldn't have really known, but I'm gonna guess it was about 9:30. And they told us to go to bed like an hour and a half ago at this point. Now, me and Brett are just talking quietly, and then we just see the light flick on in our tent. So we're like, okay, Nopa must just be doing something. So like, okay, whatever. But no, he steps out of the tent, and we're like, okay, he's probably just going to the bathroom. Nope, walks straight over to us, and I swear to God, it sounded like screaming, even though I know it was just like talking in a normal voice. My God, literally pretty much just screams, well, to us, oh, hi guys, how are you doing? And both me and Brett were like, what are you doing? Like, be quiet, like, we were supposed to go to bed like an hour and a half ago. He's like, oh, don't worry, the counselors are already asleep. Guess what? Literally 5 minutes later, oh my God, what are you guys doing up? Oh, go to sleep. Oh my God, we have to wake up at 7. Like, you're not gonna get enough sleep. Like, go to sleep. And so, we all listen. Nopa goes back to the tent, and me and Brett are like, okay, sweet, we'll go to sleep. And like 5 minutes later, okay, we know Nopa's in the tent. The light's not on. I'm pretty sure he's asleep. Like, whatever. And so me and Brett are just like, wow, that was a little weird. Like, whatever. So yeah, we just kind of fell asleep after that. Nothing else weird kind of happened with him after that. So, we wake up in the morning, we get our bikes ready, we load them up in the back of the van, and then we actually have to go get the rental bikes for the kids who didn't bring their own bikes, which is fair, and of course one of the counselors was getting their bike fixed, so they also have to ride a rental. So we go over to this, like, cargo container is the best way. No, it was like a straight cargo container in like bright white with a big Avid logo on it. And I'm like, okay, that's just great. Like, great. There must be a lot of bikes in there. They open up the storage container. Some of them are missing, probably because there was like a multi-thing camp with us who were doing like mountain biking, climbing, hiking, and all sorts of stuff. And so, there were a few bikes missing, and they're like, okay, everybody help, like, let's just get some bikes out, and of course, they're all specialized fuses, like the base model from, like, 2018, so, like, the worst bikes imaginable, for, like, relatively okay specialized bikes, like, the worst of the hardtails, if you go above the rock hopper. Alright, so anyways, we all get the bikes out, we help everybody. There's some, like, really short kid. I don't even remember what his name, like, what his legit name is. We're just gonna call him the annoying kid, because that's literally what he was. Alright, so anyways. Okay, so this kid is just, like, being really annoying. He's like, oh, I bet I can make a skid streak longer than you. And we're like, well, yeah, no joke. Like, yeah, no, like, of course you can. Like, I'm not gonna waste my tires on skidding. He's like, well, why wouldn't you? Like, it's such a good waste of your tire. And I'm like, no, it isn't. So, we're just arguing with him on, like, why it's not okay to do that. And so, like, whatever. And then finally, we all get back in the van, and we go over to, like, the Kirkouty, like, National Park or whatever. I don't even know what it was supposed to be called. But, yeah, like, the Kirkouty National Park. And we're just, like, or it might have been, like, a state forest. I don't know. But either way, we were just there, and, we're sitting there, and he's, the annoying kid, and Brett and me and Nopa. Of course, the annoying kid thinks he's our friend, even though we all know he wasn't. Yeah, no, we're just, like, sitting there, and we're talking, and this really annoying kid's trying to tune in whenever he can. We're just really not gonna let him, because he's just not being real nice right now, and it's just annoying me, and Nopa, and Brett, and we're like, yeah, like, whatever. Alright, so anyways, as the week goes on, like, we're just, there being normal. We're riding around, and on the first day, like, this is, like, the first day that we were actually riding, I didn't realize that we were literally gonna be on crushed granite, which is like the worst surface type imaginable. There's no grip. You have to deflate your tires, like literally make your tires flat pretty much to be able to use them. So, we're riding around. Now, I might add, the bike I had, the Norco, was just not a climber. It was like not even, technically it's supposed to be an XC trail bike. I would have classified that thing as like a mini travel downhill bike. It weighed like 40 pounds. It was 120, I think. 120 mil in the front and in the rear. It was just the worst bike to ride. So anyways, we go around, and literally the first turn I skid out because there's literally so little grip. So I skid out. Nopa and Brett, who were like in front of me, and of course the counselor, like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, are you hurt? And I'm like, no, I literally fell over. everybody's laughing. We all get back on the bikes, like, whatever. So we get to the next stop, and I go and I air down my tires. And it was like, huh, why do you need to air down your tires? Like, I'm like, to get more grip. Like, what the heck? And he's like, what? No, that's not how you get more grip. You have to inflate your tires more. And I'm like, okay, that's a little weird, but like, whatever. Maybe this kid just doesn't really know how traction works. Like, whatever. That's acceptable. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I deflate my tires anyways. And he's like, well, you shouldn't have done that. You're gonna have like way less grip now. And of course, I have more grip for the rest of the day. And we're riding around. And at some point, I don't know when, it was on one of the downhills, I get in front with this counselor, because, I have to stay behind, and that's like avid rules and whatnot. So, I stay behind this counselor all the way down the hill. We're going, like, literally as fast as we can, like Mach 1 on the bikes, pretty much. And, we're down there, like, 5 minutes before the deal. So we're just talking, and then finally, like, 10 minutes later, I realized Nopa and then Brett were behind him. And Brett's straight up yelling at Nopa. He's like, what the heck, like, get out of the way. And Nopa's, like, literally about to cry. It was, like, the funniest thing. I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, whatever. Like, we were 5 minutes ahead of him. Now, apparently Nopa's, like, the slowest rider in existence. He was on his brakes the whole time. Like, I literally didn't know this until I talked to Brett the next evening. But yeah, so anyways, that was a little weird. Okay, yeah, and then, like, we continue on, we continue on with our day, and we're just going about our day and whatnot. And then finally we get to a nice little climb. I'm in front, and so I start climbing, and I'm like, okay, this is really slow. Of course, Nope is going, like, literally as fast as he can up this hill, like XC style. Like, I don't even know why he was doing it. He was like, oh my god, get out of the way, you keep making me get off the bike. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. So I like, get out of his way, I let him pass me, I let Brett pass me, and then I'm like, oh no. And the annoying kid's, like, literally right there. So I'm like, okay, this is, like, whatever. So I'm just sitting there, and in, like, the third person in the row, the annoying kid's, like, probably 10-20 feet behind me at this point. I'm in the back of the good climbing pack. So, we're just going, and I have to walk my bike sometimes. It's just really heavy, and it won't go into first gear, and the dropper was, like, barely working because I just installed it. By the way, it was a P&W. There's an install video somewhere on my channel. Alright, so anyways, we're just riding up this hill, and then I realized that Nopa is, like, literally scared of the surface type. Now, if you've ever been to, like, Utah, like, the slick rock surface, yeah, that's pretty much what this piece is. It's, like, crushed granite and this, like, slick rock, and if you're really lucky, it'll be, like, a forested area with, like, a mix of dirt and crushed granite. So, we're going up this, and Nopa's just, like, really scared. Like, I didn't know, I was like, yo, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know. She's like, I don't know, I just don't like rocks. I'm like, okay, like, whatever, that's a little weird. We get up to the top, and then this is like a kind of techie trail, so we start riding down. And literally, the second we see, like, roots, which I absolutely hate roots, they like, get slippery, and your tires slide on them. Ugh, just no, and they're really bumpy. It's just, like, annoying. You have to, like, jump over them. Literally, the second I see this, Nopa's eyes just light up. Literally, bright as the sun, and he's just like, oh my god, roots, like, that's my favorite feature. I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. But, whatever, like, I'll deal with it. And so we keep going, and then finally, our coach, who is, like, probably directly behind the annoying kid, finally is like, okay, stop, like, this is, like, a session area, and, like, let's, like, go session some stuff. So, we're there, and of course, Nopa is just, like, scared to death about this rock roll, and I'm like, that's weird, but, like, whatever. Maybe he just doesn't like rock rolls. Maybe he just doesn't like rocks in general. So I'm like, okay, well, I was like cheering him. Oh, I might add that this kid was clipless, which means your feet are clipped into the pedal using, like, clip pedals. Yeah, anyways, so, he's riding clipless. I'm like, oh, don't be that scared, like, whatever. Oh, also, he's riding on roadie shoes and pedals. It's, like, not the best combination for mountain biking. Yeah, and he's just scared to death, and he finally just ends up skipping the feature. It takes him, like, 20 minutes. Like, he wasted half of our day. Whatnot. Yeah, so anyways, we finally get back to the van, like, we eat lunch, and then they're like, okay, let's go back, like, that was a lot of riding, like, this is, like, our record for the year. It was, like, probably 17 miles, from, like, probably 8 a.m. to, like, 12, like, that's a lot of riding, like, I can see that. So, like, okay, well, you know what, you guys were, like, really good today, so we'll go back to the camp. So, we get back to the camp, and we're all messing around, and then we finally find this, like, little, like, I don't even know what it's called, like the little plastic ram jumps that you always had when you were a kid. Yeah, so anyways, they have these in the back of the van, so I'm just sitting there like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then, yeah, and so we're just messing around on the monkey casing and, like, just, like, on purpose, just being funny and whatnot. So, that's all good and funny games. Yeah, and then finally we, like, get back to the campground, and, like, it's almost dinner time. I think it was, like, Brett and me that made dinner. I was, like, cooking even, we had, like, saute something. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so anyways, yeah, we all went to sleep, Nopa was being good, and, like, whatnot. And yeah, so, anyways, like, for part 2, I'll do a whole week of this stuff. The trip was a week long, and I'll tell you what happened afterwards, which was really interesting. We learned a lot about Nopa. Alright, anyways, make sure to like and subscribe. Oh, also, if you get 5 likes on this video, the game I'm playing right now, Dirt Rally 2, I will do rear-wheel drive class. Alright, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Tiernan, and bye.